right, so we've been standing here patiently with Prince and just asking him for flexion and softness. See there? Look. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is the ultimate test. Am I too close, Joyce? Let me back up. Okay. Is I'm going to ask him for vertical flexion, but I'm going to embrace him, and this is kind of like a trust thing. He's got to trust me to put my arms around him. Like we did with the other horse. Like the other one, when I did that last week, picked me up off the ground. Which this guy would. If I were the least bit, if I were the least bit on edge, this horse would pick me straight up. But it's almost like when you climb on a horse's back, you're on his back kind of like a predator almost, and some horses have a problem with that. And I've read a lot about this, where if I can't do this with him, this is very similar to getting on his back, that I'm kind of covering him, I'm over top of him. So he's got to be really, really good about that, because if I get on his back and he gets restless and he gets afraid, we're going to get in trouble. Now, if you're a cowboy or a cowgirl and you can stick to him, you'll be all right maybe, but most of us aren't like that anymore. So I've just found that whole rodeo business doesn't pay off. So I'm not going to let him get away from me, okay? We'll bend him, make him disengage his hip, okay? But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cover his eye, okay? Now, I've had horses when I've done that have come apart, because that's total trust. I can't see and your arms are around me. And so, I don't want to sound silly, but it's just these little things like this that mean so much. That I do this so much and so often, and I see how horses respond to different things so differently, and how little things like this will pay off so much in days to come. That when you get out there and start schooling and asking him for special things, he'll start saying, "Yes, ma'am. Let's do it."
Even simply, like say I sold this horse to some lady and they want to clip him.
Right.
Like he'll let me clip his left ear without a twitch, but he won't let me clip the right one, so they must ear twitch.
Sure.
Inside.
They've all been twitched. They've all been ear twitched, and they've all had the chain twitch.
I perfectly know what the gum chain is.
So that's why I'm going like this. I'm glad you brought that up, because if you saw earlier I was going like this, well,
he's been twitched and he doesn't mind it.
Well, because we got to undo the twitchers, the shortcut guys in a hurry that don't really care about the horse. Now,
my best friend at body clipping.
But you know, honest to goodness, I got twitches over there, and the only time we use a twitch mostly is when we do their teeth, because you better off. I don't want to sedate them if I can help it to do their teeth, so we'll put the twitch on, and then sometimes I put the twitch on when I brand them, because as you can imagine, that gets sometimes dramatic. But I only use a string twitch. I don't like a chain or anything like that. I don't want it to hurt. But never ear twitch. And also, I say never use a nose chain. It's unnecessary. That if that horse is not soft enough for you to use a little holder like this, then you need to back up and get your affairs in order. So, let's see, I can cover both his eyes. And I'm going to try now to drop his head lower. Okay. So he kind of acts like a 4-year-old colt, like all that nudging and all. That's how yearlings act when I work with them. But you know, in his defense, when he was started, they probably had 15 young horses, and they was in a hurry, and they had to get them all done, and they only had so many days, and they were only getting paid so much. So a lot of this, what I call manners, was overlooked because they weren't getting paid for it, and they didn't have time for it.
No, they figured they'd pass it on to the grooms at the track.
Yeah. And the grooms at the track was taught by us other grooms at the track that were taught by other grooms at the track, sometimes just to be mean.
Well, they get sold so often too.
Yeah, trade it around. But see, when I give him pressure down, I'm going to hold, and then when he yields, I release. But I'm not going to let him take that nose and push me around, because that's just him saying, I don't want to do that, get out of my space. And I'm like, no, no. But when I correct him, I'm not swatting at him. And I'm not saying, quit, quit, stop, stop. And I'm swatting. No, no. We're just correcting.